Hola clase. Hoy aprendemos de gustar con sustantivos. Today we will learn about the verb gustar with nouns. We've already learned about gustar with verbos infinitivos, infinitive verbs, to say that we like to do an action. This presentation today will have a lot of review of the concepts that we learned with gustar con los verbos infinitivos y acciones. But we're also going to apply that now to gustar con sustantivos, gustar with nouns. Vamos a ver. Gustar. Gustar significa to be pleasing or good. So this is used to say that you like or that someone likes something. But the verb works in kind of a backwards way. So we'll go over that. Here you can see in the conjugation box, las formas de gustar son yo gusto, tú gustas, usted, él, ella gusta, nosotros, nosotras gustamos, ustedes, ellos, ellas gustan. Nota gramatical. We almost always only use the third person forms of gustar. Gusta y gustan. Down below you can see that gusto would mean I am pleasing or good to something. Gustas would mean you are pleasing. Gustamos would mean we are pleasing. And now these words already define who the subject is, and they're used only in very specific types of phrases. You don't typically want to be using these forms of the verb. The forms you will use are gusta, meaning it is pleasing, and this is used when one thing is liked, and gustan means they are pleasing, so you use that to like multiple things. Pronombres con gustar. Gustar must work with pronouns. These are object pronouns, which we'll talk about more later. Me, te, le, nos, les. These pronouns tell who is doing the liking, or literally to whom is the thing or activity pleasing. Me gusta o me gustan significa I like. Te gusta, te gustan, you like. And this is for singular and formal. Le gusta and le gustan, it says there he, she, or it likes. That would also be you formal in a singular sense, likes. So if you were talking to the president, le gusta, le gustan. Nos gusta, nos gustan, we like. Les gusta, le gustan is you, plural, like. So the southern y'all. And they like. To say what item or activity is liked, you can just add a noun or an infinitive verb onto the pronoun and verb phrase above. That infinitive form, remember, is the form that has that AR, ER, I, or IR ending on it still. Comer, hablar, escribir. Those are infinitive forms. You are not going to conjugate or use other forms of a verb directly after a form of gustar. The second verb in a phrase almost always stays in its infinitive. The person or persons liking something are determined by the pronoun me, te, le, nos, or les. So the person or persons don't affect the form of gustar that you choose. Because me is singular does not mean gustar has to be singular. You can say me gustan. Because nos is plural does not mean you have to say nos gustan. Nos gusta is also acceptable. The form of gustar is going to be based on the things or the activities being liked. Pronombres. Verb forms must match subject pronouns. Yo, tú, that tú should have an accent. Tú, usted, él should have an accent as well. Ella, nosotros, nosotras, ustedes, ellos, ellas. Those are the subject pronouns. So when you say, let's say, I eat. Yo como. Or if you say, I talk. Yo hablo. You need to use the verb form that matches that subject. But gustar does not use subject pronouns the same way. Gustar is used with object pronouns, me, te, le, nos, and les. Verb forms do not need to match their object pronouns. And that is why we can use gusta or gustan with any of those object pronouns, me, te, le, nos, les. ¿Quién es el pronombre? So again, the pronouns that we use with gustar are those object pronouns, me, te, le, nos, les. Use a to specify or emphasize who that pronoun is. So with the phrase me gustan, we know specifically who the me is, it's whoever's speaking. But they may want to emphasize themselves in that phrase. Maybe someone says, oh, I don't like pizza. And you might say, a mí me gusta la pizza. So to me, that is good. And you'd then be emphasizing yourself. For example, the phrase, a él le gusta, we don't necessarily know who the he is. Él significa he. Who is that he? So we could specify it by saying, a Joaquín le gusta. Or if it's a le gusta, it might be a Rebecca le gusta or le gustan. So that's how we use those to specify. Down here below in this list of examples, you can see a nosotros nos gustan. So that would be to emphasize because we know nos goes with nosotros. But we could also say a mi madre y yo nos gusta. And that would be a phrase where you'd be specifying who it is, not just emphasizing, because we don't know the nos is you and who else? A mi madre, that explains it. A mi madre y yo nos gusta. All right, continuamos. I won't read all those examples for you now, but you can kind of take a look over them and notice they all have that a phrase that specifies, and then they have the object pronoun followed by the form of gustar. Gustar con negativo. When you want to add a negative saying you don't like something, put no directly in front of the pronoun before gustar. So no me gusta, no te gusta. So you might say, a mí no me gusta. You would still have that a mí even before that no. The no always goes directly in front of the pronoun, the object pronoun. Continuamos con unos ejemplos. Here we have some examples, ejemplos of gustar y infinitivo. That's something that we covered in the past, such as me gusta comer el desayuno. I like to eat breakfast. Y ejemplos de gustar y sustantivo. Te gustan las hamburguesas. Las hamburguesas is plural, so our form of gustar is plural, even though the you, te, is singular. Le gusta el café. That should have an accent on the E there. Excuse my lack of accents. Le gusta el café. He, she, or it likes coffee. We don't know who it is. We don't have the a phrase to specify. But here down below, a Pilar le gustan pan y yogur. Notice even though pan y yogur are each singular, there are two items here, so we have to use the plural form of gustar. Even though Pilar is singular, we still use the plural form of gustar because there are two things being liked. Nos gustan los sándwiches y las sopas. You like sandwiches and soups. Here again, we use gustan to match los sándwiches y las sopas. No les gusta el jugo de naranja. Here we could say, A ellos no les gusta, to specify. We could say a ustedes no les gusta el jugo. We could add an a phrase if we wanted to specify who that les is. Okay, entonces, that's about all I have to cover with you today. There's a lot to the verb gustar, but the more you use it, the more comfortable you'll become with this verb that works kind of in a backwards way. So if you have any questions, please contact me. Otherwise, hasta luego.